Perception over reality. Men judge far more by the eye than by the hand, for all can see, but few can touch. This is the truth of the world you inhabit, and it has not changed since my time. You believe you are valued for your thoughts, for your skill, for the quiet work you do when no one is watching. But no, you are weighed and measured in the first instant of sight, and once the measure is made, it is near impossible to undo. To look poor, to present yourself as weak, ragged, desperate. This is to carve your own cage before your enemy lifts a hand against you. Ask yourself this when two men enter a hall, one dressed in dignity and the other in neglect. Which one do the people rise to greet? Which one do they whisper about with curiosity, and which one do they dismiss without a word? The one who appears strong, noble, and secure, whether he truly is or not, commands the room. The other vanishes, even while standing in plain sight. It is not justice, but it is reality. The world is built upon appearances, not truths. A man who looks poor is never asked about his wisdom, nor his virtue. He is instead assumed to have failed in life. The assumption of failure is poison. Once it enters the minds of others, it rots their respect, their trust, their willingness to follow you. No man wishes to follow a commander who looks as though he cannot command even himself. This is why perception is more powerful than reality. What is real only you may know, but what others see, that is what rules your fate. A poor-looking man may be rich in intellect. He shall be trampled by fools who wear fine shoes. A poor-looking man may carry the heart of a lion, but he shall be treated as a dog. And all because he allowed the world to believe what his garments and posture suggested: weakness, poverty, insignificance. Do you believe that men are noble enough to look beyond appearance? Do you believe they will search for the hidden treasure in your character? Then you are naive, and you will suffer for it. Most men are lazy in judgment. They do not seek truth. They consume what is given to their eyes. You may be a man of great worth. If you appear of no worth, the world will discard you. Imagine the merchant who begs for credit but arrives in rags. Will the banker trust him? Never. If that same man borrows a coat of elegance, straightens his back, and speaks with the tongue of confidence, the banker will listen, perhaps even lend. Did the merchant's true fortune change? Not at all. Only his perception changed, and that perception unlocked opportunity. Or consider the leader who walks into council slouched, muttering, and worn, his face clouded with the dust of defeat. He may possess the best strategy, the clearest vision. His allies will not hear him. His appearance speaks louder than his words. Now consider the rival who enters with bright eyes, firm voice, and the dress of command. Though his mind is hollow, he will draw support, for men follow the image of strength, not the essence of it. This is why rulers throughout time have worn crowns, robes, jewels, and armor polished to blind the eye. They understood that the first victory is in appearance. Even if their coffers were strained, even if their soldiers were weary, they masked it with grandeur. Why? Because subjects will endure hardship if they believe their leader is strong, but they will abandon him instantly if he appears weak. The same law applies not just to kings, but to you. You live in a world obsessed with symbols. Clothing, mannerisms, speech, even the devices you carry. These things tell the story of who you are long before you speak a word. And men, being creatures of speed and vanity, accept that story without question. If the story you tell with your appearance is one of poverty, you will not be treated as a man of hidden riches, as a beggar seeking favor. Do not expect mercy. Let me tell you what happens when you appear poor. You will not only be dismissed, you will be preyed upon. The wolf does not attack the strongest sheep in the herd. He waits for the one that limps. In human affairs, the man who looks poor is that limping sheep. His weakness is displayed, his vulnerability advertised, and all those who wish to exploit, to cheat, to trample, will find their mark in him. It is better, therefore, to disguise hardship behind the mask of dignity. If your purse is empty, do not let your posture be. If your table is bare, let your presence remain rich. For men believe not in what is hidden, but in what is shown. You may struggle in silence, but you must not look like struggle, for the world grants opportunity to those who appear deserving and robs it from those who do not. This is not cruelty, it is the nature of power. To appear poor is to confess weakness. To confess weakness is to invite domination. Even the generous man hesitates to give to one who looks too far gone, for he believes his charity will be wasted. But to the man who appears strong, others extend their hands, eager to share in his strength. Listen carefully, for this truth will determine whether you remain invisible or whether men bend themselves to your will. Respect is not merely admiration, nor is it courtesy. It is the invisible coin of power that circulates silently in every room you enter. With it you can purchase loyalty, influence, and survival itself. Without it, no matter how rich your purse or how clever your tongue, you are nothing more than dust beneath the boots of others. Ask yourself, why do men follow one leader into danger, yet abandon another though he offers safety? It is because the first has earned respect while the second has not. Respect creates faith where logic fails, binds men to you in ways that gold never can, for gold once spent is gone, but respect once secured multiplies itself. Each time men show it, others see and mirror it. Respect is contagious, and when it surrounds you, even your enemies hesitate. Now, what is the root of respect? It is not poverty, for the poor man is pitied, not revered. It is not desperation, for the desperate are ignored. Respect grows from the soil of strength, or at least from the convincing appearance of it. Men respect what they fear, envy what they wish to become. They do not respect what they pity. Therefore, to look poor, to sound defeated, to present yourself as needy, is to cut yourself off from the very currency that secures power. Consider the beggar in the street. Does anyone respect him? Men may throw him coins, not out of honor, out of guilt, out of a desire to rid themselves of his presence. This is not respect. This is disdain disguised as mercy. Now picture the nobleman who rides through the same street, dressed with command, carrying himself as if the earth itself bends beneath his steps. Even if he is bankrupt in secret, the people will bow. Why? Because his image demands respect, and that respect opens doors that his actual wealth alone could never unlock. Think also of war. Two generals march their armies forward. One looks tired, disheveled, as though defeat has already tasted his lips. The other rides tall, his armor gleaming, his voice clear, his posture unshaken. Which army fights harder? Which men are more willing to die? Soldiers do not follow for pay alone. They follow because they respect the man they believe can lead them to victory. Respect buys loyalty that no coin could secure. But understand this well, Lean. Respect cannot be begged for. The man who asks for it confesses that he does not have it. Respect must be taken, or it must be projected so strongly that men give it freely, fearing what would happen if they did not. To look poor is to forfeit this game before it begins, for men do not respect weakness. They respect what stands above them, what forces them to look upward. Do you see how respect functions as currency? With it, you can purchase things invisible yet priceless. A man respected is granted silence when he speaks. He is given the benefit of the doubt when others would be accused. His mistakes are forgiven more swiftly, his victories celebrated more loudly. Even in failure, respect cushions his fall. But a man without respect will be crushed by even the smallest misstep. His words are doubted, his motives questioned, his very existence treated as expendable. Look at the merchant again. If he is respected, he can borrow with no gold in hand, for the banker believes his word is worth more than coin. If he is disrespected, even his gold is suspected of being counterfeit. Respect secures credit where wealth alone cannot. It is a reputation that pays for itself. And think of the court, where men plot and whisper in shadows. The respected man enters, and even his enemies nod to him. They may hate him, but they dare not humiliate him openly. Hatred is survivable, but the loss of respect is fatal. For when men cease to respect you, they cease to fear the consequences of your fall. They no longer see risk in betraying you, mocking you, abandoning you. A man who is hated may still rule. A man who is disrespected is already dethroned. Respect, therefore, is not a luxury. It is necessity. To lose money is a wound. To lose respect is death. That is why princes, rulers, and even ordinary men spend fortunes not merely to appear rich, but to appear worthy of reverence. They understand that respect buys what gold cannot. It buys silence where questions would otherwise be asked. It buys followers where bribes would fail. It buys time where mistakes should have ended them. Yet here is the cruel paradox: respect costs less than wealth but demands more discipline. To earn it, or at least to appear worthy of it, you must guard your image at all costs. Every gesture, every word, every choice of dress, every look upon your face. These are coins you spend in the marketplace of respect. Spend them wisely, and the world will enrich you. Spend them poorly, and you will be bankrupt, no matter how heavy your purse. Respect makes men hesitate before they strike you. It makes allies remain even when reward is small. It makes rivals plot carefully, fearing the backlash if they misstep. And once respect wraps around you, even lies told about you cannot stick easily, for men will say, "No, I cannot believe such things of him, for he is too great." But there is a law older than kingdoms, and deeper than scripture. Men believe what they see. They do not open your chest to weigh your heart. They do not peer into your mind to measure your wisdom. They look at the mask you wear, and they take it for reality. Therefore, if you are wise, you will wear the mask of prosperity, even when hardship gnaws at your bones. For to show the world your wounds is to invite the wolves to feast upon you. Do not mistake me. I am not telling you to be wealthy. I am telling you to look wealthy, to look secure, to look powerful, whether you are or not, for the world is not ruled by truth, but by perception. A man may be crumbling inside, but if he wears the mask of prosperity, he is treated as whole. A man may be dying of hunger, but if he wears the mask of abundance, he will still be invited to feasts. The mask protects him, not his reality. Consider the merchant who struggles in debt. If he confesses his poverty, none will trade with him, for all will believe him finished. But if he arrives dressed in dignity, speaking with calm certainty, and masking his troubles, men will continue to extend him credit. They will continue to deal with him, and by the time his mask becomes his only defense, it has also become his salvation. His appearance buys him the time to recover, while honesty about his poverty would have destroyed him. The same rule governs kings. A ruler may suffer famine in his land, soldiers weary from endless campaigns, treasuries drained by war. Yet if he displays himself upon his throne in robes of majesty, if he parades his soldiers in armor polished to brilliance, if he fills his court with banquets and his people with spectacle, they will believe he is strong. And belief is enough to hold a throne. But if that same king reveals his weakness, strips away the mask, and shows himself as poor, uncertain, or desperate, he will be toppled before the truth has time to ruin him. It is not lies I counsel, but strategy. The mask of prosperity is not a deception to destroy others. It is a shield to protect yourself. Men are cruel in judgment. They do not forgive weakness. They do not respect honesty when honesty exposes failure. They respect only strength or the convincing appearance of it. Thus, if you wish to be treated with strength, you must wear the mask even when your heart trembles. You may ask, but will I not be living a falsehood? And I tell you, all men live within masks. The nobleman masks his fears behind his smile. The warrior masks his doubts behind his blade. The merchant masks his desperation behind his ledgers. To survive is to mask. To prosper is to master the mask. The difference between the fool and the wise is that the fool wears no mask and is destroyed, while the wise conceal their wounds until the time to heal has passed. Do not underestimate the mask. It does not merely fool others, it reshapes how you are treated, and in turn how you begin to treat yourself. If men respond to you as though you are great, you begin to act great. If they treat you as wealthy, you begin to command as if you were. The mask, worn long enough, becomes part of the man. It creates the very reality it once concealed. Think of the banquet table. The guest who dresses in finery and enters with confidence, even if he owns not a coin, is seated with honor. He is offered wine, he is welcomed into conversations, his opinion is sought. Why? Because his mask speaks before his mouth does. Meanwhile, the man who truly has wealth but enters dressed as a beggar, slouched, uncertain, is ignored, dismissed, perhaps even cast out. His reality is rich, but his mask is poor, and thus his reality might as well not exist. Men are creatures of symbols. They worship crowns, robes, polished steel, gilded halls, not because these things hold power in themselves, but because they suggest power. The mask of prosperity is one of the most potent symbols. To wear it is to wield influence without question. To refuse it is to risk scorn, mockery, and dismissal. Understand this: to look poor is to announce defeat. To wear misery upon your face, to parade your struggles in public, is to place a target upon your chest. Men do not help the fallen out of respect, they scavenge him. But to look prosperous, even while fighting unseen battles, is to signal to others that you are untouchable, that you are not prey, that you are not to be pitied but admired. And men are drawn to admiration like moths to fire. This mask is not only for kings and merchants, it is for you. Whatever your station, whatever your struggle, the world will measure you first by what it sees. If you let it see despair, despair will follow you. If you let it see strength, strength will rise to meet you. The mask is not betrayal, it is survival. The man who is esteemed may fall, but hands will rise to lift him. The man who is despised may rise, but hands will drag him back down. You must understand a principle that governs all human interaction. Survival belongs not to the strongest, nor even to the richest, but to the esteemed. To be esteemed is to be elevated above others in their minds, to exist in their eyes as something greater, something more worthy of honor, of loyalty, trust. And esteem, once secured, becomes a shield stronger than steel, protecting you from enemies, mistakes, and the cruelty of fortune. Without it, even the greatest talents, the sharpest minds, the bravest hearts are left naked and vulnerable. Imagine two men walking through the same marketplace. One looks ordinary, worn. He is skilled, perhaps even brilliant, but the crowd does not part for him. He must push his way through. He must shout to be heard. He must fight for scraps of attention. The other, however, walks with presence. His garments are clean, his step assured, his eyes unflinching. Men glance at him and think, here walks someone of worth. They clear his path, they lean to hear his words, they offer favors before he even asks. The difference between the two men is not in their reality, in their esteem. Esteem is perception crystallized into power. It is the invisible force that makes men bow before one and ignore the other. It is the crown without a kingdom, the throne without a palace. And here lies the truth that many will deny, but none can escape. The man who appears great will be treated as great, even if he is hollow, while the man who appears poor will be dismissed, even if he holds genius in his hands. Do you think history remembers those who were merely clever, or merely kind, or merely capable? No, it remembers those who captured esteem, who wore greatness upon their faces, and carried themselves as if chosen by fate itself. Men of average ability but supreme esteem have commanded armies, ruled empires, and bent entire peoples to their will. Men of immense ability but no esteem have died in obscurity, their talents wasted, their names erased. Esteem is survival because it buys protection. When a man is esteemed, others defend him even when he does not ask for it. They excuse his errors, they shield him from harm, justify his failures as temporary misfortunes rather than flaws. He stumbles, but the world insists he is still standing. Without esteem, the opposite is true. The man may succeed, yet his success is belittled. He may achieve, yet his achievement is mocked. And when he stumbles, men cry out with glee, eager to see him fall further. This is why appearing poor is fatal. Poverty, whether real or perceived, is the enemy of esteem. To look poor is to suggest that you have lost the game of life, that you are incapable of commanding yourself, much less others. Men do not esteem failure, they exploit it. They may offer pity, but pity is not esteem. Pity does not defend you, it weakens you further. To survive, you must inspire esteem, not pity. Think of the court where intrigue is constant. The esteemed courtier may be surrounded by enemies, yet none dare strike openly, for his reputation protects him. His presence commands too much weight. To move against him would be to invite danger. But the courtier who lacks esteem, even if he is skilled, is easy prey. He may fall in a single whisper, betrayed by allies who see no value in defending him. Or picture the battlefield. Two captains lead their men. One is esteemed, his soldiers see him as brave, invincible, touched by destiny. When he orders them forward, they march even into certain death, for to disappoint him would be worse than dying. The other captain, though equally skilled, lacks esteem. His soldiers doubt him, hesitate, question his commands. In battle, hesitation is death. And so the esteem survives while the other perishes, not because of talent, but because of the invisible shield of esteem. Esteem also multiplies opportunities. The man who is esteemed is invited where others must beg to enter. His words are sought, his presence is desired, his approval is courted. Even if he brings nothing tangible, his mere appearance adds value, because men believe he is valuable. This belief feeds itself until it becomes reality. The man without esteem, however, is barred from opportunity. He must claw at doors that never open, and even when he forces his way in, he is dismissed quickly, for men do not see value in him. Understand this: esteem is not given freely. It is earned, or rather, it is projected until men have no choice but to believe in it. You must cultivate the signs of greatness, your posture, your tone, your confidence, your appearance, until they form a mask so convincing that men cannot separate it from truth. Once they esteem you, you may stumble, you may falter, you may even fail, but they will continue to see greatness in you. And this continued belief will give you the chance to rise again. The survival of the esteemed is not just survival, it is ascendance. It is a cycle that lifts you higher and higher. For each gesture of respect you receive creates more respect. Each honor leads to greater honors. Each appearance of strength multiplies into real strength. The opposite is also true. Once esteem is lost, survival collapses swiftly. Men who once applauded you will turn their backs. Allies will desert. Enemies will sharpen their knives. Without esteem, you will be left to the mercy of pity or scorn, both of which kill slower but more painfully than the sword. This is why you must never look poor. For poverty, whether of coin or of spirit, signals to men that you are unworthy of esteem. And without esteem, you cannot endure the trials of fortune, you cannot command loyalty, you cannot outlast betrayal. The esteemed live longer in memory and influence, in survival itself, while the poor, looking, vanish, forgotten before the earth covers their bones.